It's showtime.
Breaking news from the BSnBEER news desk.
Welcome in to the Beer Chaser after the Saints defeat the Falcons 48-17. Today I've got Tomas and I've got B-Train with
Who
me,
dat?
guys. What's going on?
Man, feels good. Feels good to close the season out that way.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's going on, Tomas?
I had to adjust the light there. I had too much light on. I don't know. I still might have too much light on. Okay, all my silver gray is reflecting. So we'll see.
It's all good.
Looks
It's
good.
all good. Oh, man. Okay, so
Let's get started.
overall thoughts here.
What are you waiting for?
What'd you think about the game here, Tomas?
Lovely. Anytime we can be the Falcons, I'm a happy man.
Yes, sir.
As I always
Yes,
say,
sir.
as long as we have 2 wins a season, I'm good. This year we only had 1, but I'm good with 2. Beat the Falcons both times, we're good. What happened at the end of the game? They turned it into another game with 3 minutes left.
Oh, we will
Not
show
on-
you exactly
Not
what
on my
happened.
stream.
Yeah, not on my stream, but my stream froze up like a TV dinner.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the
Right when
Falcons
Jameis
offense.
turned, and it's like, I was like, God dang it.
Do you want me to spoil it? Do you know what happened?
Well, let me show you here what happened.
All right, let's see it.
Because
Career. Oh, and Arthur
we
Smith's
got Arthur Smith walking in to shake hands with Dennis Allen, and he's pretty pissed.
Ooh, do we have any lip readers?
I love
Yes.
it. I love it.
He says, what the F was that?
Yeah.
That's
Not
right.
happy. But
That's right.
Here he
Love
comes.
it.
Here comes it. See, what the F was that, man?
look at Dennis Allen with his, normal impassioned response.
Yeah. But
And
hey,
he said, employment line is that way. Unemployment
That's right.
line is that way.
Got it.
that's right. That's right, man. It was lovely to see the Saints make that move late in the game to bolster the score a little bit.
Yes.
Just twist the knife. We love that.
I mean,
screw the Falcons.
Against anyone else, they wouldn't have done that. But the Falcons absolutely deserve it. Stick it
They
to
deserve it.
them.
That's
Screw
right.
the Falcons.
That's right. You
I'm
know
happy
who
doing
you
that
are.
against everybody.
Yeah.
I'm happy doing that against everybody.
I wouldn't complain. But there's not a team that deserves it more than the Falcons.
That's right. That's right. Stupid Falcons.
Yeah.
All right, let's go through this game, man.
All right.
First possession by the Saints, we ends up in a punt. But then on the Falcons' first possession, the Saints bust the coverage, and Scotty Miller hits a 56-yard reception. It was ridiculous. And then Ritter followed that up with a short pass to Jonnu Smith for a touchdown, 7-0 Falcons. B-Train, what were your thoughts early on when this happened?
Yeah, it was embarrassing. It's blown coverage. I think Taylor fell down on that. It didn't look good, and obviously had me more nervous about the Saints game than the other game that was going on. Early on, and thankfully it wasn't too big of an issue. But I would say they got to clean that stuff up. But I don't know if it's going to matter until next season.
Well, hey, don't give up hope.
You're
Chicago
right.
Bears are playing good football. They could
Yeah.
definitely beat Green Bay. And
I think
Arizona beat Kansas City, so what's to say?
Anything could happen. Anything could happen.
Anything can
You're
happen. So
right.
we need to clean it up. We need to think positively, and we need to clean that crap up.
That's fair. Yeah, get my head back in the game here.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that from the very beginning, part of the problem is who do we have playing back at safety? We're missing so many people that it's hard. When JT Gray is your safety, you already have problems.
Problems.
I love him on special teams, but dude, not at safety.
Yeah, that was right. There was, and then Taylor did make up for it later, which we'll talk about. But I mean, early on, especially in the slot, did not look good. That was rough.
He's not a slot guy.
No.
I would hope that they learn the lesson. Pete is better at tackle.
Yep.
Bond is better as a rusher. Okay, figure it out. Taylor's better on the outside. So
yeah, especially if Lat's gone, man, we're gonna have Taylor and a Debo on each side. I mean, you can work with that. That's okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a message from a Dallas fan. Are we ready to potentially play Dallas or Philly in the playoffs?
Sure.
And of course, they got the Dallas Cowboys for life there. So,
well, since we didn't win the division, we'll have to travel. So it's kind of there's a couple of factors there. If somehow we can squeak in the wild card, then most likely, just reading the tea leaves, I think Dallas is going to win that division. So that's closer. It's warmer. It's inside. But Dallas is much better right now, and I think we could beat Philly, even if we played in Philly. So I don't know. I just don't see them coming away with the NFC East, but that would be nice.
Yeah. Okay.
We have to be truthful, right? I mean,
yeah,
we can play with most teams, but we're not a top, 4 team. So it'd be a rough going no matter who we play.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, we avoided paper bags. There's no paper bags here, fam.
No booze, no paper bags. I mean, look, when you close the season out with a win over the Falcons in such a convincing fashion, and you end on a winning record, I mean, Look, that you got to take that,
Take it. That's right.
Philly can be got. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think so. And you look how we played the last 4 games. I mean, there's optimism there in the last 4 games of how we played. So
even in the games where we were getting blown out or whatever, like the Lions and the Rams over the last couple months, like they fought back, man. This team has fight, and they're peaking at the right time, even in spite of the injuries. So you never know if they can get into the playoffs. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yep. I agree.
All right. The second drive, we see Kendre Miller get a carry, and it was a pretty nice gain. He looked pretty good running the ball there. I'm shocked because it's Kendre Miller playing football.
Wait. Did he go to LSU? Oh, no. Wait, he went to Tulane. Did he go to Tulane?
Oh, no, come on.
I'm so sorry.
Hey, look, no one's been a bigger fan of Kendre Miller than me. I've been, cheering for him and believing in him all year. Anyone that listens to the show. No, but hey, look, he picked a good time to come out and play. I guess it would have been nice, having him available earlier in the season. But yeah, he did look good, and that's what we would have, especially if you had that with Kamara for the whole season. I think that would have been a really good 1-2 punch.
We needed
you can never account for injuries, right?
Yeah.
So, when this young man is not injured, obviously he has the skill set to play. So we'll see.
They finally kind of figured out the offensive line to some extent by the end of the season, which helps.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. And I definitely believe that Pete at the outside was a major change that was a positive.
Yeah.
Well, Kendre Miller finished the game with 13 carries, 73 yards, 1 touchdown.
Yeah.
He had a long of 18, man. I'm telling you, he looked pretty good this game.
Yes, sir.
Props where it's due.
Not complain. Yeah. Even got 1 catch for 6 yards too. So, yep.
I expect more of that. I expect him working more out of the backfield, those kind of swing passes like that. And like B-Train said, the combination of him and Kamara, where you don't have to expose Kamara to so much during the game, I think that'll be a tremendous positive.
Yep.
We're going to need it in the playoffs next week.
Yep.
That's right. So then we see Carr connect with A.T. Perry with a back shoulder throw for a touchdown. That made it 7-7. And look, overall, the Saints were 4 of 6 in the red zone today.
Without Jimmy Graham.
Without Jimmy Graham, yes.
There's no reason why they couldn't just let him dunk it one last time. He was in the game, but still, their red zone issues. They've down the stretch. They figured that out today. They look good there.
Yeah, got to give Carr some props, man, because he's not good in red zone, but these past few weeks, they've been converting in the red zone, and so got to give him the props. The Falcons respond with the swing pass to Bijan Robinson for a huge gain. This was like 70 yards for a touchdown, and this made it 14-7. It looks like Alontae Taylor was supposed to be in coverage on that play. Total bust, though.
Yeah. That was embarrassing. And just as bad as, if you take out this play and that in the first half, I mean, half of their yards came from those two plays alone.
Yes.
I mean, look, it happens, but this defense has been largely predicated on shutting down those home run plays. And early on today, they didn't do it. Now, thankfully, it didn't really matter, but not a good look.
Right. And when you look at Ritter's statistics, that's what you're going to see. He's got a bunch of yards, but it's really just on 2 plays.
Yeah.
So, but again, I think I give that all to the injury bug that we have, because we just don't have May back there playing, which he's a much more steady safety than what we have back there. Even though we've got a couple of guys who are bringing it forward, but it's just a big difference when you put Taylor like that on an island. He's not Revis, I mean, you can't put him on an island like that,
I mean, I was cursing at Dennis Allen in the first half of the game, but when you take away those 2 plays and when you take into consideration the injuries, like you mentioned, good performance today. I mean, in spite of a lot of guys missing, they looked good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we got down to pretty much the last corner on the team, who is Shamar John Charles. Like, I didn't know
didn't
that
even
guy.
know. Yeah, I didn't even know. Yeah, who dat? Literally, who dat? Come on.
But he's out there playing corner because we're down so many corners now. So
yeah, when I see a number that I don't know, and I'm like, wait a second, I gotta go look who is that? That's not good news.
No, it's like that Miami game a few years ago where Peyton was in the locker room and he was like, "Who is that?" And it was like guys getting their jerseys stitched up on the day of the game.
Yeah. This is the guy on your team here.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, and we saw Kendre Miller get his first touchdown in the second quarter. That made it 14-14. Again, Kendre Miller actually playing and looking good.
And that play, if you recall, I think at first they said that was short, and everyone in the stadium was going crazy.
Yeah.
He got that. And they didn't even need to use a challenge. New York, they did the thing. And I don't know why the NFL doesn't do this on every question.
All the time. Yes, that's wrong. Yeah. Fix it.
Yes, immediately. And they did it. So props to the officials in the NFL or whatever. But, obviously the inconsistency really bothers me still because they don't always do that. But that's what right looks like.
Yep. So what'd you think about the officials here, Tomas? Like, what the hell is going on all game?
We've talked about this a number of times. If the NFL really wanted to fix the official issue, they could fix it. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's just they don't want to fix it. Right. And so with that in mind, then it becomes a subjective situation. There's no way you're going to tell me that some guy who just finished eating a dozen tasty donuts running down the sideline with a striped shirt is going to be able to know exactly where that guy fell on the ground with the ball. He gets there too late. So, and I'm exaggerating. There's some good referees in the game, but the bottom line is that poor calls cost games.
Yeah.
And, and again, you turn around, like I say to you, I mean, sometimes those poor calls are on purpose because, we want to see the Rams in. We want to see the Cowboys in. We want to see, the Saints. No, we don't want to see the Saints in there. That's a small market. So, a lot of that is, in my opinion, politically generated because of what markets they want to see in the postseason.
That's a good point. Maybe it's all built in. Maybe this bad rep stuff is all built in just so we can have the outcomes like we want them to be.
I believe that. I don't. Part of me wants to believe that the NFL is like wrestling and there's a kayfabe and there's a script and all that, but I don't think it's actually like that. But there's definitely desired results, and with the subjective nature of this, the refs can affect that, and that's a big problem, not just from a gameplay perspective, but with legalized gambling becoming as big as it is. It's being pushed by the NFL, by ESPN. Mm-hmm. Like, this is a big problem. Okay. And I think eventually that's going to come to a head when people are losing all kinds of money on totally subjective calls where every other league in the world, man, basketball, baseball, soccer. I mean, everyone just somehow gets it right. We have the technology to do it. There's no excuse not to just get it right, especially when there's this much money involved.
Yeah.
Well, and it's not just again, you want to believe that it's not anything scripted. You want to believe that it's on the up and up. Yeah. But all you have to do is go back to that one game, Los Angeles Rams versus New Orleans Saints.
I was there.
If you just go back to that one game, there is no doubt that they wanted the Rams in. New stadium, they wanted the Rams in.
Of course.
So maybe it's not scripted, but perhaps, the powers that be go, who's the crappiest group of referees we have? Let's put them on this game over here.
Well, and Tomas, if there was ever any question about the NFL's intent there, it was made crystal clear with the fact that referee, Vinovich, was rewarded with a Super Bowl the next year. So there's no question about it. He did what Goodell wanted.
Exactly. So it might not be scripted, but certainly there are meetings that are held, to let you know this is the outcome we're looking for.
Right. I mean, look, the city of New Orleans has a population of what? If I'm being generous, 400,000? I don't know, something like that. I mean, if 10% of the LA metro area watches the Rams, which, by the way, they don't because nobody cares there, then that's still more than the entire city of New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I would say this to you, certainly, and especially after Katrina, the population is much smaller. It's not the city that I grew up in. But as you say, Los Angeles doesn't really give a rat's butt about the Rams. Yeah. So whereas the Saints are not just New Orleans, the Saints are regional because, you have New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lafayette. You have a number of cities across the Gulf South that'll watch the Saints. So as far as TV viewing, and sponsorship and commercials and that kind of thing, money-wise, I think, there are other teams. Dallas probably would do great, no problem against us. The New York teams, yeah, sure, fine, because those people watch those teams. Mm-hmm. But, in that particular issue with the Rams, it's like the Chargers, really? Who watches the Chargers?
Well, that was a shame. Moving them from San Diego to LA, that was nonsense.
Yep.
Terrible.
So we see the Saints and the Falcons exchange field goals to end the half. And so the game is tied at 17 to end the first half. And so that brings us to our favorite segment of the show. If I can find the clip.
Oh my God, it's gonna blow!
It's a Tomas rant.
That's right. I don't want to hear these facts.
Daddy, she's gonna blow!
I have opinions.
I got a nuke coming in. It's gonna blow in less than a minute.
Facts don't mean anything to me.
It's gonna blow! It's gonna blow!
My opinion overranks the fact, okay?
It's gonna blow up! It's gonna blow up!
And she will. It is a mathematical certainty.
Tomas,
Indubitably.
give me the rant for today.
All right. I hope you're ready. Now, I'm 68 years old. I have been a Saints fan since day one when they announced it. My wife and I were season ticket holders for I can't tell you how many years. Okay. So I don't play the game. All right. My life went in a different direction. So I've never been on the field wearing uniform and pattern. But as a student of the game, I have always been perplexed by the term holding, because I see so much of it and I never see it called. It's like, wait a second. Here we're talking about referees calling a game certain way or whatever and, making the outcome. Dude, in today's game, let's not even worry about the other game. Just in today's game. So, my understanding, correct me if I'm mistaken, if an offensive lineman keeps his hands inside the shoulders of the defensive player, they'll seldom call holding. But if you grab the guy, pull him down to the ground, I would think that's holding. And today, we had very little pressure up the middle. Do you know why? Because every time our interior linemen take 2 steps forward, they pull to the ground. Dude, that's holding. I mean, what else would you call that? I mean, it was just so blatant. At one point, I even put it down. Blatant holding. You know, they're grabbing Granderson by the collar, pulling him like, wait. You can't do that. That's what. DeMario is going. He's got the correct angle to make the tackle. Here comes it. And they finally called it. They finally had to call it. The guy did it like 6 times. You know, finally grabbed DeMario, and I was like, dude, really? So my rant today, I like holding on to my wife. I like holding on to the hard-earned money I make. I don't like to give it to Uncle Sam. I like holding a beautiful glass of bourbon in my hand. Or just before nighttime, calls me to bed, a nice, beautiful little shot of cognac. I like to hold those things.
Okay.
But I don't like holding my offensive lineman against my defensive lineman. I don't like the way they don't call these damn things. All right, there you go. That would be my rant for today.
There we go. There we go. Appreciate that.
That's one of those subjective ones right there where they can influence the games.
True.
Because I mean, they certainly don't call it enough when it's against guys playing the Saints.
I've never seen it. I watch so much football. I know we all do. Man, I have just never seen so blatant that they don't call it. It's like, Jesus, are you blind? Do you need glasses? I mean, and like I said, it's one thing you're holding them and they're still standing up, okay? But when you grab them and pull them down to the ground, yes, then I become this guy here and say, what the was that?
Arthur Smith.
That's right.
All right, there you go. That's my rant for today.
It's wonderful. So, yeah.
I love that.
All right. Yeah, we're going to be playing that clip for a while. I guarantee it. So,
you like the other Atlanta clip where?
Tuttle.
Oh God, the German. If you watch that,
German.
The German broadcast is so funny.
Yes.
That's the proper one to watch. Yes,
yeah.
See, so now, Dale, what you need to do is put a compilation, of all those Atlanta moments.
Yeah, you're right.
28-3, Shy Tuttle, Arthur Smith.
That sounds good. That's a great idea there. All right. The Saints start off the second half on defense, and Alante Taylor gets an interception on that first possession. And this is after he's been kind of giving up a few things, and just like he gave up the touchdown pass to Bijan Robinson. So battling back, and they're actually, I think they're seeing that he's better on the outside. I think the coaches see that.
Definitely. Yeah. And also before that, he was when he come to the sidelines, he had some other people telling him things. May came over and told him a few things, and then the coach came over and told him a few things. So, it's just a question. We have to remember this guy is not like, a 6-year pro who's seen it all, right? He's still a young guy.
Yeah. Learning the position.
And I hope we get to talk a little bit about Penning, but to me, we lack coaching in so many different places. We have such young, good talent. We need to coach it, to get these guys back up. Look what happens in Texas, right? The Texans bring in a real good coaching staff, and look how they turn the whole season around in one season, right?
Yep.
But it's the same players, Yeah, okay, they got Stroud. Yeah, okay. But I mean, besides the ones they drafted this year, the other players all of a sudden all came up. Why? Good coaching,
And the common thread between those two players right there, Taylor and Penning, I think, was an improvement that I saw with Dennis Allen, this year, because early on he was willing to acknowledge, and I think a lot of people questioned this at first, that Penning probably wasn't the answer, and they benched him. And even today in the game, we saw Taylor, potentially be the primary reason why they gave up 2 big plays, and they pulled him out. He wasn't in there for a little bit, but you know what? what that lit a fire under him, and it seemed to work because he got his redemption. And I think that was the turning point of the game, in my opinion. Once he got that pick, it seems like it was all Saints the rest of the way.
And he got coached up. When they pulled him out, he got coached, which is what I'm saying is the difference. Penning gets pulled out, and he just sits on the bench. There's nobody to go over there and tell him, hey, son, you get.
Oh, yeah. Well, they got Marone as the off. That is a disappointment right there. I mean, I don't know. They got better towards the end, but it's just you have all these first and second round picks invested in the offensive line, and you have this guy with head coaching. This guy should be a good offensive line coach. I've been really let down with how that's played out.
And I think the other part too is when Streif left. When Streif left for Denver. I mean, that's the guy who was really working with Ramczyk, and obviously he was going to be working with Penning and with Young, all the young kids that were going to be playing tackle. And without him, it
would have been great to keep him.
Yeah. But to me, it's the coaching. To me, Dennis Allen's a defensive coach. Okay, he's got good defensive coaches underneath him, and you can see that because they make the adjustments and they work on things. But offensively, I don't see that. Our receivers can be better, even though they're good. I think our receivers can be better. Better coaching. Offensive line, same thing. Tight end, same thing. So that's my perspective.
But like some of this stuff is still on Penning. Like Alontae Taylor got benched and he comes back and he responds. So he's getting. I'm pretty sure he's given the opportunity in practice to respond, and they're not seeing what they need to see. And even looking at iPad time, how they talked about Abram and his iPad time. Make your iPad time look higher. You got to respond some kind of way if you're Penning.
Yeah, well, I don't want to take all the responsibility away from Penning. Don't get me wrong, but I think Penning is more raw than Alontae Taylor, and that being the case, he needs more coaching at the NFL level. Yeah, right. He didn't come from a big school where he had all kinds of 4 years of coaching. Right. Mm-hmm. He was just a raw kid who was big, and nobody could beat him because he was big, playing at that division level. Yeah. But when you come to the NFL, it's a whole different ballgame. And I really think, go back, think about when we had other tackles, the one that was hurt all the time, right, but was an all-pro. That dude came from Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Yeah.
And when he first came in, he got his butt beat every time.
But eventually he became one of the...
He wasn't an all-pro when he first came into the game, right? He replaced wasn't it Charles Brown that he replaced?
Yes, he was replacing Charles Brown, and that's the difference. You're replacing Charlie Brown, who was somebody you didn't want to see play football anymore.
Exactly.
And you get into the game like, you're going to look better than him. So
yeah. But my point is that I believe that Penning is still a project. And I wrote that, I don't want to give up on him yet. I want to see him get some really good coaching during the offseason, and let's see what he comes up with next season. Now,
I agree.
If he's a bust, he's a bust. Okay. But,
Yeah, we put a lot of pressure naturally on first-round picks, and that's probably warranted to some degree, but I've always thought that offensive line is the position group that takes the longest to develop. So you got to be a little, and he redshirted last year basically. So let's see where he is at the end of his 4 years, and maybe they pick up his 5th-year option just to give him a little extra time. But yeah, it's probably still a little too early.
Yes, I agree.
Okay. And this is we're still in the second half here. Crazy catch by Chris Olave. Goes for a touchdown. This made it 24-17. B-Train, talk to me about this catch, man.
That was awesome. And the way he's bobbling it, it's bouncing all over the place. And the fact that he came down with it, that was super exciting. That was highlight reel, Sports Center, you name it. Great way to kind of cap the season for Olave. I think he's been very promising in his first couple years with the Saints, and that was why right there. That tells you why he's such a special receiver, because that's just focus and concentration. That's not just luck, right? Yeah. That's not luck. That's great receiver work there, and hey, good pass too. But working around the cornerback like that, unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'd say that's the key word: concentration.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent play.
Absolutely. I think the offense started getting hot here. We saw Miller have a nice run.
Who's that?
Yeah, Miller had a nice run, and Pete Carmichael follows it up with Derek Carr play action. Boom is a strike to Shaheed, 31-17, baby. Where the hell has this been, Tomas?
Well, that was my prediction, by the way. 31-17 was my prediction, but we beat that.
And you were like, stop the break. Just pump the brakes.
Let's just eat up the clock now so I can win. No. Well, again, and I don't want to make it seem like I'm a homer or whatever, but, and especially Dale and I have talked about this, I never, remember, I didn't pick Carr to be the quarterback, right? But the guy was injured at the beginning of the season. He was pretty beat up. And so now you're seeing a Carr that's not beat up, and you're seeing, I think, a more intelligent game calling, as it were. And that's why we haven't seen, and you said it, there's play action. Well, man, if we would have had play action from the very beginning of the season, our offense would have been tremendously different.
They didn't run it.
Yeah, we didn't have that, and then he gets beat up and he's got, shoulder issue, back issue, rib issue. Dude, you can only do so much when you're beat up, So I think that this game, and really the last 4 games, really shows what is possible with this offense, And today we didn't have AK. So just imagine if you add that to the pot of gumbo there, man, you're going to have an outstanding but it's really the play action. Man, that play action really made Atlanta bite, So and of course the beautiful throws. I mean, I don't know, these back shoulder throws. Suddenly I'm like, why didn't Carr throw this before? Man, it's like I don't understand. Is this the same guy? But I have to believe
all training camp stuff. Like we should have been had to step down.
Yes, I agree. But a lot of personalities are also into play, because here we're looking at Olave, and remember that for a while there was like real friction between Olave and Carr, right? Yeah. And now all of a sudden here he catches the pass, and the first thing I see is Carr comes into the end zone, is all happy with him. Then they show the sideline, he's over, shaking his hand and pointing at him like, yeah, you're the man, It's like, wait a second, it's a completely different relationship now. So the personalities, I think, are melding much nicer,
Yeah.
So, and that's why I think it's coming to life. And of course, we haven't even talked about A.T. Perry. I mean, another guy that next year I expect big things from him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Really big. So
absolutely. We saw the defense keep the Falcons out of the end zone. They came up with a big stop on 4th down in the red zone in the 3rd quarter. So we were inside the 5-yard line pretty much when we came up with this stop. So good stuff. And then the Saints go and follow this thing up with another field goal. And that made it 34-17 Saints. So we've seen the defense step up. We've seen the offense step up, putting up points. At this point, I'm pretty comfortable in the game. I'm really looking at the Panthers, hoping, please, God, give me a miracle with the Panthers.
They couldn't provide. But on that field goal, I think that was a field goal right there that surprisingly set the rookie Saints field goal record. That he beat Lutz on. So, I mean, promising sign, right, going forward.
Yep.
Yeah. I think, it's amazing to me. I said this to my wife while we were watching the game. I call him Louisiana Shrimp because he's so damn small.
Little feller.
And it's amazing to me. He kicks the ball off and it's out the back of the end zone. I'm like, dude, the technique this guy must really understand, balance and alignment and line, I mean, it's just amazing. It's such a small fellow can just tattoo the ball like that,
That's right.
But yes, I mean, he's becoming more and more dependable. Yeah, I think you're right, B-Train. I think that was the kick that broke the season record. So, and again, he's just starting, and the future's still in front of him,
Yep.
So it's all good,
Yep. So Atlanta gets the ball back, and they follow this thing up with a fumbled snap, and oh my God, Peyton Turner gets the
There
recovery.
he is.
What in the hell is going on? Peyton Turner?
I mean, I think him and Kendre Miller got together before the game, and they're like, "Look, we got to do something because we don't want Dale sending any more bust alert messages out to people."
That's right. That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can't use the drop today.
I have confidence in Miller. I wish I could say the same thing for Turner.
That's true.
But, I'm sorry, and I know there's somebody going to be upset with me again, but I hear Turner, I hear Davenport, and it's great, that when he's healthy, when he's playing, he seems to be a person that really is a disruptive force. Great. But if you're not available to play, my brother, then you mean nothing to me,
Yes, sir.
So, okay, last game of the season, he shows up. Great. I give him the next season, and I'm not passing judgment on him yet. He seems to have a tremendous amount of talent. So, okay. And with Cam reaching the end of his, career, we need somebody to go against Granderson because Granderson's just eating everybody up.
Yep.
So, okay, if he can stay healthy and he shows himself, fantastic. But as of right now,
yeah, and I don't think they have, nor will they pick up his 5th-year option. So next year's his contract year. So I mean, for some guys, they come alive then. So
no chance.
So, yeah.
But then there's a question of injuries, right, B-Train? I mean,
yeah,
if he's not available to play, it doesn't make any difference.
That's right.
So,
and A.T. Perry gets his second touchdown, and that made it 41-17 Saints. So again, what you were saying about A.T. Perry becoming a factor next season, I think he's going to get an opportunity because I'm pretty sure this is going to be the last year for Mike Thomas, and so he'll be able to slide in and really hold down one of these receiver positions, him and Shaheed and Olave. So, are you pretty confident with those 3 guys being your top guys going into next season, Tomas? What you think?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so because you provide different things, right? Perry has length, right, height, and he can block people out. So that's one thing. Then you have pure
That's
speed,
possession guy,
right? And then Olave's got combination of speed, and he just runs such pretty routes, So I think that. Yeah, I think any quarterback would love to have those 3 guys as 1, 2, 3 receivers on their team. So yeah, I think so. Now, depth, that's another question. I don't know what we have behind them. I like the young guy from Kentucky, but he's just a backup guy who's in a pinch. And behind him, what do you really have? Sitting there, Kirkwood. I mean,
we tried to get Hunter Renfrow, correct me if I'm wrong, earlier in the season, and I think he's going to be a free agent.
Yeah.
I could see that coming together.
I'm pretty sure. We did have Jontre Kirkland on the practice squad, but they released him. Jack Davis and Callaway.
Free agency, you don't know who's going to, become available.
True.
So we could pick up 1 or 2 receivers that really, solidify the room.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think Michael Thomas, I think he either retires because of the injuries or as a free agent, he'll sign with some team that looks to be on the cusp of winning a Super Bowl. I mean, that's what I would think.
Yeah.
And of all those teams, I would think probably a team like Kansas City, would be a place that he would look at. But we'll see. I don't know. The injuries to Michael Thomas, such a talented, a guy who really has a will to win. It's just such a shame, that the injuries have really taken a toll on.
After 2019 too, and I still look at that week 1 of 2020, and I think it was against Tampa Bay, and we were arguably running up the score. I don't know.
Yeah, he was just blocking, man.
Yeah, and then he got hurt in that, and then Since then, yeah, we've barely seen him. Never been the same.
Never been the same, bro.
Yeah.
And ankle injuries for a receiver who really depends on making those serious cuts like he does.
Yeah, for sure.
We're not talking about a guy who has speed, and if he loses a step, he's still fast.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about a guy who depends on making those cuts. And it's sad, really. But
good point.
The
Honey Badger kind of seals the game there with the interception, but he was trying to run it back, and I'm like, what's going on, Honey Badger? You're faster than this. What the hell?
It's Atlanta.
Don't let the fat guy get you.
No, well, he did that so that they could get it to Jimmy Graham. That's what he was thinking. He said, this one's for Jimmy. I'm going to intentionally go down on the 1 yard line so they can get it to Jimmy Graham.
Yeah. Honey Badger wants some fantasy points, though. That's what happened.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if I may interject, I know that he's an LSU guy.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that. I had no idea.
And of course, that's one of my alma maters. So, but let's be real here, okay? Matthew has lost a step at least, maybe 2, So when I was watching him run towards the end, I was like, okay, he's going to run out of gas because he's just not going to be able to get to the end. And when he starts singing a little bit like this, I was like, oh no, they're going to catch him before the damn end zone. So
Technical bowl on him.
Again, let's put it where it is, right? I think he brought a tremendous amount of stability to the back end of our team on defense. And somebody you could really count on. He knows what's happening in the game, but he's not a spring chicken anymore. So time catches up with all of us.
And if he hadn't gone down at the 1, then we wouldn't have got that super display of pettiness that followed right after that.
Well, now that's true. So I'm thankful for that because I like the pettiness against Atlanta.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So this is when we follow up with a fake tush push to Jamal Williams that made it 48-17 Saints. And that was pretty much the end of the game there. And that's why old Arthur Smith was so pissed. And I'm here for it.
Good.
So.
I don't ever feel bad about anything that happens to the Falcons. They could never win another game for the rest of time, and I'd be okay with it. I'd be happy, perfectly happy with it.
Yes.
Well, I like to see them come into the dome fired up, like they're going to do everything, and then have that kind of a game where we just kick their ass.
That's right.
That's just my feeling on it.
I mean, look, they came into the game with the same playoff aspirations as the Saints. If they won and Carolina won, they probably already had the Atlanta Falcons NFC South Championship T-shirts right there in the locker room that are now getting shipped off to, Africa or something.
That's right. That's exactly right. But man, look, Honey Badger is second in the team in interceptions with 3. Debo leads the team with 4. So,
and that was a really pretty interception. And that was really a pretty interception that he made because he read the quarterback the whole way. Mm-hmm. And, so there's no doubt, like I say to you, his knowledge of the game is really such a tremendous positive factor to our whole defensive backfield.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely. Okay. So I need players of the game from you guys. What you got for us, B-Train?
Ooh, let's see. On offense, man, it pains me to say this, but probably Kendre Miller. I'll admit it, right? I'll admit it. He was a huge part of this win today, and I'll give it to him. Okay, it took the whole season to get there, but that's a good sign. And I would love, trust me, I wanted Spears, but I would love for him to keep doing this going forward. That was good.
Yeah.
And on defense, I don't know, man. Everybody, with all the injuries, we had a lot of guys stepped up.
Yeah. Man.
Hard for me to say. Probably. I liked Taylor coming back when he did, but of course, with that, we wouldn't have had those big home run plays by the Falcons early on. So, yeah, I don't know. I got to think about that.
Okay. All right, Tomas, what you got?
Well, on offense, I would choose Pete Carter. No, Miller. Miller is my guy. Okay, I am so happy that he played so well. And don't get me wrong, it's not because of Spears. I hope all of them do great. Okay, it's just that I think that this young man is going to make a big difference to our team, and I'm glad we saw a little something of it. So, and on defense, I'm going to go with Matthew because I really think that his leadership makes a difference back in the backfield. I think a lot of guys did step up, some that we don't even know their name, right? Who's Zero? Oh, yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? It's like, who's that guy? As my wife said, who's Zero? I was like, I'll tell you who he is. But a lot of those people, I think, stepped up because I think that Matthew was able to give them some direction as to, here. I think, I have to tell you truthfully, I think the defensive line played great. With all the damn holding that was going on, they still were able to keep, the pocket where it had to be. So, yeah, but I'm going to go with Matthew as my defensive player of the game.
Okay. For me, I've got to go Derek Carr on offense. He did his thing. I think it's probably the best he's looked all season. For sure, Kendra Miller was, definitely in consideration. On defense, I am going to have to give it to Zero, Ugo Amadi, because like your wife said, I was like, who was that guy? But he always showed up on the screen. The fact that we're down to these cornerbacks who you don't know and they're playing well, I have to give it to Amadi. So
yeah. Especially on that play where he actually blocked the vision on that touchdown throw. Because that's a touchdown throw. And that was just
look, he had one where that deflection would have came to him if he was 2 inches taller.
Yes, that's true.
It would just went right over his fingertips, bro.
Exactly. The truth, yeah.
So, but yeah, man, I have to give him a lot of props in that secondary, man. They're out there balling, bro. They're doing their thing. So
yeah.
All right.
Well, it's all good now. We just have to be ready for next week.
That's right.
I'm doing my prep work for next week to see, well, who we have is going to be able to play, who's not injured. Because I'm sure tomorrow everybody's going to be sitting in a big bucket of ice tomorrow trying to heal up. So
you think they're watching these games in the locker room now?
Probably.
Yeah.
I would think some of them are,
Yeah, it's probably a few of them. Most of them, I'd be home by now.
Yeah.
When
it's Mardi Gras season. Get the kids.
Yeah, exactly. When the clock strikes, it's time to leave work. I'm getting the hell out of there.
Yeah.
Well, it's dinner time anyway, so it's time to shower up, get dressed, and say, "Okay, chow down."
That's right.
Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
All right, so that's gonna wrap up the show this week. We will see if we'll be playing next week, and maybe we have another beer chaser to recap our playoff win. How about that? That'd be nice.
Sounds good.
I'll be there.
Count me in,
sir.
There we go. So for Tomas and for B Train coming through, this has been the Beer Chaser. We'll see you guys next week. Who dat?
Later.
Remember to follow us on social media at BSnBEER Media. Also, smash the like button on YouTube and share with friends.